Hello everyone, it's Pam here with Tattered Paper and Lace, and welcome back to my channel. We are here for week 9 of the Margarete Miller collage challenge, weekly collage challenge. So let's go over the prompts. First, we need a wild animal, a tree with blossoms, part of a recipe you enjoy making, a book page, something that came in the mail, and the bonus is a date or anything from a calendar. So that's what we need today, and I had a few different choices. As usual, I'm going to show you where I'm getting some of these things from, but as usual, I do have it all planned out, but I wanted to show you the process I went through and the things I had chosen and then changed to and whatever. So I always like to see what could be the background first. That's just the way I start. And so for this, a book page was the logical background. So I had this chemistry page. I got this huge 1980s chemistry book. This is how big the pages are. And the book is at least that thick. I got it free. It was in a thrift store, and well, I'm sure nobody wanted it, so it was on the free shelf. So I have that with all these chemistry formulas. I thought that might work, and it could. It could work. I could cut it down and make that. Well, I didn't even think about it. See, I thought about, it's kind of tissue paper like. I really like the pages, and I thought about doing it in half like this, which didn't quite cover the page. I didn't know if I liked that or not. I think I wanted to cover the page, but I could do it and cut it down, and then it would have all the way to the edges something on the pages. See if we did it like that. That's a thought. That just now occurred to me. But I'm not going to do that because, for one, this is a lighter color, so it's almost the color of my background, and I wanted something with a little more contrast. So I decided to go with a regular book page, just a novel. It's just a regular novel page. Some novel somewhere along the line that I cut up and used the cover for. A book, for a journal. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down because it will not have anything going under it. I'm going to use my bigger glue bottle for this. And I'm going to use art glitter glue instead of glue stick because, and I think for most of these things, all of these things, I think I'm cleaning out, making sure it'll come out. I'm going to be able to use the art glitter glue because all the papers I have are a heavier weight. So the wet glue isn't going to really bother it. I like to use on magazine pages or fragile paper. Well, for fragile papers, I usually use art glitter glue because when you're trying to glide the glue stick over it, it usually tears the paper. But this is, and you can see on this side it has some ink stain because this is from the book that I use to when I'm staining something or I don't want it to get on whatever I'm working on. It's the book I use for that. So I'm going to just make it central, give me a little border all the way around. So I decided on this background because I liked the color, and it gave me some contrast between from my actual journal page to the page I'm putting on. So therefore, I can make myself a little border, and I like that. So that is the book page right here. Now, let me put my glue my glue thingy back on. Now, for a wild animal, I really didn't have to search far. I have this book that is this book. Hold on. Let me show you where I got it from. Not that you need to know necessarily, but I got it from this section, which is right here. It says mammals. So I got it from this book, and I knew as soon as I was supposed to have a wild animal, that's where I was getting it from, because that's a great source. And I picked this coyote right here to be my wild animal. And then a tree with blossoms. I had the hardest time with this because I went to my 2 tree books, which these are the same. This one's just bigger than this one. And I went in here, and what they had was a page like this that just showed the tree and then mostly the leaves with the blossoms. Man, that's okay. But it was very little. I found the same page. There is the same page in this book, which is a bigger book. But then if I used it as my book page, somewhere in here I found a flowering tree. But anyway, if I used it as the background, then when I put things on there, it was going to be covering up too much of that. And I didn't really want to cover up the image of the tree blooming. So I decided I would not go with any of those things. I also had found this image, which was not of the whole tree, but of a branch. Oh, I got to show you something else too. Back to the wild animal. I found this later after I cut this out. But this is faux stamps, and every one of these has a wild animal on it. That would have been cool to use, but it isn't going to work with the other things that I have. So I just wanted to show you kind of the process of what I go through to think about and decide on. So I was going to use this, which is not the whole tree, but a branch of a southern magnolia that came out of the same wildlife book that the animal came out of. But I decided I didn't want to use that. So I'm not going to. Because it just wasn't that, none of that was coming together. I needed something that was big enough to be a focal. None of those things came together as a focal. So I found something else. I have this book. Love this book. It's old. This book. Trees, Wildflowers, Reptiles, and Fish. And it has all of these images. And what's really cool about it is I'll show you. This is where I cut it from. I cut it from right here, the one I'm going to use, which is the flowering dogwood. It was right over here, but on the back tells you about it. So I really hate to cover the back up. So I thought about hinging it and making it be interactive, but I decided against that as well. So I'm using that as is, and not as a flip up or anything like that. I'm just going to use it as my focal because it was a good size to use. And then the next thing, recipe you enjoy making. Well, I didn't want to go find a recipe and then copy it and then tear it or whatever. So I don't know if I would enjoy making this or not. I've never made it, but it's Aleppo, A-L-E-P-P-O. I don't know that word. Pork chops with potatoes and greens. It sounds like it'd be good. I do like pork chops. So I thought I would just use this part of a recipe from the Southern Living magazine. So it may or may not be one that I would enjoy, but that's okay too. We're just going to go with that. I think this is going to come down some. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm thinking about doing here. I did look for a handwritten recipe that I had in my vintage things. And I did find one, but its page color was very similar to this, and I needed and wanted a little more contrast, because with the white of the dogwood blossoms, I liked the white of this paper a little better. So that's what we're going with. Okay, then something that came in the mail. So I have these cutoffs from envelopes that I bought at, I forgot what it was called, Scraps, I think, in Portland, Oregon. And I had heard different people mentioning about that. And my husband and I, in 2019, went on an Alaskan cruise, and then we did some driving around in Oregon. So I specifically wanted to go to the store, and I got a few things, and this is one of those things. So this is a part of an envelope, and it is from 1945. So this is something that came in the mail. I'm going to stick that right back here. And the bonus is a date or something from the calendar. Now, I had thought about using this calendar, but I really couldn't find a good place for it. I like the fact that it's also white, and it's February, and that's what month we're in at this point. Yes, this will still be February when it's in February now, but it will still be February when this airs. But I don't like the white and the white, so I'm not using that. But this has a date, so we're going to go with that. So this one is doing double duty as something that came in the mail and as a date. And this is going to be what my layout is right here, just like this. The only thing different that I might do is this was at the bottom of this flowering dogwood, and I thought I'd put it at the top, just like that. Either that, or I thought I'd cut it down and make it more like a label and put it just across the page like this. But I'm thinking I don't want to do that. I think I'm going to put it up here, and then I can cover up the name that's on this envelope, because I don't really care about seeing that, and I can just put it right up here, and it'll look like it came from the top rather than the bottom. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I could also shift it over if I wanted to. Maybe. I don't know on that yet. I hadn't really. Maybe. Kind of like it shifted over because this is heavier on this side, and this kind of gives you something over here. So I could make it be more like a label over on this side, cut it down. I might do that. I could even put it down over this a little bit. Yeah, I might do that rather than here. The reason being is this is so close to this, and if it were over here, maybe the words being even with the start of the picture, then that kind of makes sure I move across the page a little bit better. So I think that's quite possibly what I'm going to do. Just need to make sure that, I will be. Even if I cut it down, I will be covering up the name on the piece of envelope. So this is going to be my collage. So the next thing I need to put down is this. This is going under this. So we will put this down. And this came from Sarasota, Florida, May 19, 1945, from Mr. R.W. Kleeman is who it was addressed to. Don't know who it's from, since I don't have that part of the envelope. But 1945, May, that still would have been right at the end of World War II. So don't know if it was a letter to family, to girlfriend, wife, mother and father. Don't know, but it's quite possible. And I'm going to do it a little bit outside of the book page, but still leave the tiniest little border of the white, my journal page. I just wanted it to be further over that way. And then this, I can put that down some if I'm going to do that. Could put it right at the bottom. I like it. And I wanted this and this to be lower on the page like that. So let's see. This can go up a little bit. I think I want this to go up a little bit. I still want this to come down like that. Just like that. I still want it to come down like that, but I can leave that up there. So if I decide not to do the flowering dogwood words, then you still don't see the person's name because it's mostly cut off. So, yeah, I didn't think it was necessary to have it. I want the words of the background book page to be all the way around this image. Okay, so I think, yeah, I'm just going to cover, that's what I'm going to do. So we'll take these off. Uh-oh, I left the lid of my glue off. See, it has the information. I hate covering that up. But, oh well. You can get whatever information you need from the internet. Oh, and my wild animal is a coyote. And in this book that it came from, it says, or it shows, what areas of the United States, because it's North American wildlife, of the United States that coyotes are. And it doesn't, and I live in Georgia. It didn't include Georgia, but we do have coyotes. So maybe we don't have this kind. I don't know. It didn't have any other kinds of coyote. It's the only one. And it didn't say it was in the Southeast or in Georgia. And we do have coyotes, so I don't know. Of course, this is not a brand new book, so maybe they have migrated more into our area. And I've never seen one here, but I have had other. We sort of live in a rural area, and we've had people comment that they've seen coyotes. Now, I don't know. I really couldn't say for sure, but it seems like it would be likely we could have coyotes. I don't know. Maybe it was something else that they saw that they thought was coyote. Who knows? But something has gotten some of our cats along the years. That we've had some cats here and there along the years, and something has gotten a few of those. So I don't know. Could have been something else. Anyway, I am going to cut this off just a little shorter. And I am now going to put it right here. And I'm going to make the F of the flowering word be right at the corner of the image. I have a little bit of a border around the image. Or should I do it like that? I don't know. It's a minor thing. It's a minor thing. I don't know. Certainly over this way, but I don't know if I want it that far. Yeah, I think I just want it like that. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Anyway, this one, I'm telling you, I don't know if it's because this is the third year I've done this in a row and that I've done it in a book, but these are feeling a little stagnant. It's a good word to use to me of what I'm doing, and I don't know how to make that be different. Okay, there we go. That's perfect. I don't know how to make that be different. Now, this is a magazine from a magazine here, so I'm going to do it with glue stick. So let me put my glue top back on. So this one took me a little while because what I started with was, it just wasn't coming together, and it was just like, oh, this is another hodgepodge looking one. It didn't have any cohesiveness, it seemed to me. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm just kind of getting a little burnt out on doing these collages or what exactly, but it's something. And I hope that I can get out of that because I do enjoy doing collage, but I am I'm not an overflowing, always have something new, creative to think and do. That's not me. I have to recharge my, I'll put that about like that. I have to recharge my creativity. Therefore, I am not in the craft room necessarily every day because there's other things that I need to do. Plus, I don't know, I just need to recharge my creativity and not try to create while I try to get the mojo back. But I'm feeling like these are beginning to be a little bit stagnant. But nonetheless, I'm continuing on, and hopefully we'll get out of that little bit of a slump, if you want to call it that. I do want to tell you and remind you that I am also working on, and I'll have another video out this week on my steampunk journal. I should have the signatures at least pretty well laid out for the most part, and we'll go through what I've done. I showed you last week, there was a video on, I'm calling it something about building a book. Let's build a book, I think is what I called it. And I'd like for you to come along and see what you think about what I'm doing. I'm going to, we're going to decorate it together. And I showed you last week, if you haven't seen that video already, I showed you the pages that I want to use, the kinds of papers that I want to have, scrapbooking paper and vintage paper and all kinds of papers that I want to use. And so I showed you those. And then this next week, I will have the signatures put together. And make sure that's down good. Yeah. And then I'll thumb through the pages. We'll talk about why I picked the number of signatures and the number of pages and that sort of thing. There, that's that collage. I do like it. After I worked on it a while, I do like it. I am going to do my little tiny collage I do over here for my prompts, and I believe, yeah, it's got to go at the top this time. This is a little piece from the handwritten recipe that I thought I was going to do, and I didn't decide to do that, so I'm just going to use that little piece over here because I tore it up a little bit to see what I thought about it, and that was left over, and I didn't want to try to save that piece. I flipped that little piece of paper, went right on my sweater, not to the floor, which is normal. So anyway, I hope you will join me on my video on building a book, and building a steampunk journal. And I just like the ring, even though it's a journal. I'm not really, well, I am sort of making a book. I'm remaking a book. I've used a Reader's Digest as the cover, and I did a mixed media cover on it. It's not completely done, but the base of it is done. I have a video on that because I did it some time ago, and it's just been sitting there waiting for me to get started on it. And so I have that video showing you the process of how I made the base of the cover of the book, which is made with duct tape and paint, gold duct tape and paint. And I'll show you that. I mean, you can, that is in the video on the first part 1, Build a Book video. I have that video linked in the description box. It's under my tutorials in my playlist tutorials. So we're going to put this just right along here. I just like to have a little bit of something here. So I'm going to put this right along here. And then this is from the wildlife book as well. And it was just a little piece I had hanging out inside the book, just stuck in. I said, you know what, I'm going to use it so I don't lose it, because I might lose it. I have a terrible time of losing little bits of paper like this. I try to keep them corralled, and I don't know, they just get lost. And I'm the world's worst if it's not on the floor and I can't find it on my desk. And I call my husband in, and he is the best finder. He just, I mean, I can say, I'm looking for this and describe what it is, and he will find it for me. I love it. He's the best finder. Okay, so that is my little collage for week 9 of the Margarete Miller collage challenge, weekly collage challenge. Let's go over, make sure I have everything. So we have a wild animal. Here we have a coyote. A tree with blossoms is a flowering dogwood. Part of a recipe you enjoy making. Well, I'm going to imagine that I would enjoy making this because it actually looks like it would be pretty good. I do like pork chops. It's Aleppo, A-L-E-P-P-O pork chops. That must be the kind of pork chop, I'm not sure, with potatoes and greens. So we're going to imagine that I would like making that. I've never made it, so I don't know. A book page is my background. Something that came in the mail is this piece of an envelope. Oh, and I meant to tear that off so it wouldn't be a straight line. Oh well, too late now. Something that came in the mail is this piece of envelope. And then the bonus is a date or something from a calendar. Well, I have a date right here. Says May 19, 1945, 8 a.m. So that is my collage for this week. I appreciate you coming along. Again, check out my Build-A-Book videos. I don't know how many parts there's going to be because I will be decorating it as well. So I don't really know yet how many parts, but part 1 is up. I didn't call it part 1. I may go back and change that. I will be numbering the other ones 2, 3, 4, whatever. So anyway, let me know what you think about this collage. Thank you for coming along, and I appreciate, I saw my analytics from YouTube. I had 70 new subscribers in January. Unbelievable. So I appreciate that so very much. You just don't know how much I appreciate it, because if it weren't for my subscribers, there would be no reason to have videos. So it is because of you that I am continuing to do videos, and I hope that you continue to enjoy them. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, and if you are not subscribed and would like to, hit the subscribe button, and then if you hit the notification bell, you'll get further videos from me. And again, I thank you all so very much for coming along, subscribing, and commenting on my videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.